Alright, today we're going to review the skills that we went over on 9-3, and that was power of products, which is multiplication, and power of quotients, which is division. When the bases are the same, we can add the exponents. For example, if we had the problem m times m to the fourth times m to the third, our base number is the same, so that's going to be m. Adding our exponents, we don't have a 1 written here, but it's understood. 1 plus 4 plus 3 gives us a total of 8, m to the 8th power. Next, if we have a problem such as 2x to the third times negative 4x to the 8th, because our base numbers 2 and negative 4 do not match, we're simply going to multiply those together for negative 8. X to the 3 plus 8 is 11. And that's the best we can do. Next, if we had the problem 4a b to the second times 3a to the second power b to the second power c, again 4 and 3 don't match, so we're going to multiply, and that's going to give us 12. A to the first, remember, even though it doesn't have an exponent written, it's understood to be a to the first. A to the first times a to the second, simply add the exponents. A to the third. B to the second times b to the second, add the exponents. We have b to the fourth. C, it has the exponent of 1, and there's no other variable c's in our problem, so it's going to stay c to the first power. Here we have our exponents on the outside of parentheses. This is indicating that our negative signs and the variable p are repeated over and over again. So the best we can do is, our base number is negative p. And we simply add our exponents. 20 plus 3 is 23. Sometimes you'll have a problem where the exponents are inside the parentheses. When they're inside, this is telling us that just the x is repeated over and over again. The negative sign is not. So remember, the coefficient is negative 1 here and negative 1 here. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. X, and add your exponents, and we've got x to the 9th power. The answer can be written as 1x to the 9th, but you'll see it mostly written as x to the 9th power. Next, some examples reviewing our powers of quotients for division. When the base numbers are the same, instead of adding the exponents, for division, we're going to subtract the exponents. So, our first example, 4x to the second power divided by 2x. Our bases don't match. We're going to divide them just as we normally would. 4 divided by 2 is 2. X to the second divided by x, remember there's a 1 here, it's understood. 2 minus 1 is 1. And we could simply write that as 2x. If we have 7 to the 20th power divided by 7 to the 4th power, the bases are the same. Subtract the exponents because it's division. 7 to the 16th power. If we have negative 10 x to the 3rd divided by negative 10 x to the 3rd, we are dividing negative 10 x to the 3rd by its exact same self. Any number divided by itself is 1. The exponents for 12 are understood to be 1. If we subtract them, we get 12 to the 0 power, which equals 1. X to the 10th divided by x to the 3rd, we're going to subtract the exponents, and we get 1x to the 7th. Or you can simply write it as x to the 7th. Here we've got negative 13 divided by negative, oops, sorry about that. Negative 13 divided by negative 13 is 1. N to the 4th divided by n to the 1st. We're going to subtract the exponents. 4 minus 1 is n to the 3rd. P to the 18th divided by p to the 2nd. Again, we're going to subtract the exponents. 18 minus 2 is 16. Now you can write the answer as n to the 3rd, p to the 16th. We don't have to write the 1, but it's understood to be there. And our last example. $25 divided by 5, they don't match, so we're going to divide as usual, and that's 5. X to the 4th divided by x to the 2nd, we're going to subtract the exponents. X to the 2nd. Y to the 10th divided by y to the 5th, again, subtract the exponents. We get y to the 5th. And z divided by z, anytime we divide it by itself, we get 1. So, there's our final answer. And this takes care of the review for 9-3, multiplication and division. We have an extra practice worksheet. Here we have some review skills from yesterday as well. On problem number 1, it asks us to identify the base and the exponent. The base is 5, and the exponent is 7. Number 5, this section wants us to evaluate. Remember, that means to calculate or solve. And what's special about raising the number 10 to a certain power is the number of zeros is going to match the exponent. And I'm going to write it down here so I have enough room. Next section is simply writing it with exponents. Make sure you pay attention to your directions. Here we're going to have multiplication. Our base number is the same, so we're going to take the rule and add its exponents, which gives us 9 to the 14th power. Number 13, that's going to be 4. Base number is the same, so we add the exponents. 4 to the 13th power. And number 17, 2 to the 7th times 2 to the 4th. Base number is the same. And we add the exponents for 2 to the 11th. Here's where we have different base numbers, and we're going to multiply them. The number that's understood to be in front of negative x to the 6 is a negative 1, so that's going to give us negative 7. The base number x's are the same, so we add the exponents for multiplication. Negative 7, x to the 9th. Number 23, negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. A to the 3rd times a to the 4th is a to the 7th, adding the exponents. B to the 5th times b to the 7th, add the exponents, and we get b to the 12th. Let's skip down to number 29. Negative 9 times 3 times negative 3 is going to be positive 81. X to the 2nd times x to the 4th times x to the 2nd. We're going to add the exponents. 2 plus 4 plus 2 is 8. Let's try a couple more. Negative 7 times 4 times negative 5 is going to be positive 140. F to the 3rd power. G, here we have g to the 6th times g to the 3rd is going to be g to the 9th. And we do have a different variable h, and that's going to be h to the 2nd. Number 35, we've got negative 3 times negative 6 times negative 4, and that's going to be negative 72, r to the 2nd, t to the 8th, and s to the 8th. Normally, if you were to do practice problems in a textbook and check them in the back of the book, the variables would be listed in alphabetical order. Right now, as long as you've got the right variables with the right exponents, I will not count it wrong. Next, reviewing the fact that for a rectangular prism, to find the volume, it's length times width times height. Don't be confused because of the L, W, and H. That's simply telling you length, width, and height. Then we're going to multiply them together. So circle what we're multiplying so you can focus on it. 2 times 3 times 2 is 12. Let's see, I've got an x here, no other x's, x to the 1st. No other y's, y to the 1st. And no other z's, z to the 1st. And that's the best we can do. Number 41, again, circling what we're multiplying. 4 times 2 times 2 is 16. We've got a to the 1st times a to the 1st, which is a to the 2nd. B to the 1st times b to the 1st is b to the 2nd. And c to the 1st times c to the 1st, adding the exponents, is c to the 2nd. One more. 3 times 3 times 5 is 45. X to the 1st, x to the 1st, x to the 1st. That's going to be x to the 3rd. Y is y to the 3rd. And here's a z and here's a z. Z times z is z to the 2nd power. Okay. On this worksheet, multiplication 9-3. Multiplication, you're going to do the last column in each section. The last column in each section. Now for the back side, we've got some extra practice on division. Again, we're going to subtract the exponents. 7 to the 11th divided by 7 to the 9th is going to be 7 to the 2nd power. 25 to the 3rd divided by 25 to the 1st is 25 to the 2nd. We were simply asked to divide. It did not say to evaluate, so we're not calculating it. 9 to the 7th divided by 9 to the 3rd, we're going to subtract the exponents. Base numbers are the same. 7 to the 4th. Number 10, 15 is our base number. 8 minus 6 is 2. In division, we subtract the exponents. Now for the next section. Our base number x's are the same, but we don't know the values for the variables m and n. but we know we have to subtract them, so m minus n. That's the best we can do. We're done. Number 16, our base number is the same in division. We're going to subtract the exponents, but the best we can do here is 13 minus d. Number 19, y is the base number. In division, we're going to subtract the exponents. 5 minus q is the best we can do. Moving to the last section, a to the second divided by a to the first is a to the first. 2 minus 1 is 1. We don't have to write the exponent 1, it's understood. B to the fourth divided by b to the second. Subtracting the exponents, we get b to the second. Now here's one where we don't know the exact values of the variables, but we're going to, the exponents, c and d, we're going to leave x and y grouped together and simply show that we're subtracting c minus d. That's the best we can do. On problem number 34, there's a 1 coefficient. 1 divided by 3 gives us a repeating decimal. We're not going to go there. We're going to leave it as a fraction, 1/3. F to the third divided by f to the first, subtracting the exponents. 3 minus 1 is 2. F to the second. P to the 7th power divided by p to the 4th power. Again, because it's division, we're going to subtract the exponents. 7 minus 4 is 3. And that's the best we can do. Now on this side, the division side, you're going to do the second column. Again, the second column in each section, but you're going to skip problem number 8 and problem number 32. This concludes the review for Pre-AP, October 26th, Lesson 9-3, more multiplication and division.